Hello and welcome everybody to a new 999 challenge video. Today we will be doing the audit for year 90 to year 95. During our last audit, I believe I said that the audit was going to take place over the course of the entire last decade before year 100. However, it turns out fishing takes a little longer than expected. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to go through these 5 years, and then we'll have another audit when we finish our last 5 years, leading up to year 100. So during this audit, we spent most of our time fishing. The main reason being is I decided, to my own detriment perhaps even, that it was time to do iridium fish. Up until this moment, I had essentially just been doing fish just to get the stacks. But I decided kind of as a whole on the whole challenge that it would be more fun to get the highest quality possible for each of the different items. That means for both fish and now because of 1.6 smoked fish, they all have to be iridium quality. Fish I use for cooking can be any quality, but for the fish that are going to display as the stacks, those have to be iridium. So most of what we're going to be seeing today is a lot of fish stacks going up, but that's not the only thing we did. So why don't we start by taking a look at our spreadsheet here. So this is our totals page. I also have here that our last update, our last audit was on March 23rd, 2025, which was, gosh, 8 months ago now. It turns out the fishing took a lot longer than I thought it would. So even only after 5 years of fishing, we've still managed to have 8 months go by before we've had our last audit, which is part of why I decided it was a good idea to split this audit into 2. So as we can see here, we've got a lot of our categories already done as of the previous audit. There's a few stragglers and things like seed. Geodes, you're going to find out this was actually higher at our last audit. I did make a change. We'll talk about that when we get there. Resources, this is probably going to go up by a little bit, as we'll see. Forage is very close, and we'll see why when we get there. And you'll see that the fish and the smoked fish is very low right now, but this audit as a whole, those are going to go up quite significantly. Books are going to have some changes too, gifts and rewards, and we can talk about all of these items as we're kind of going through and seeing how they've changed. Our current percentage for our spreadsheet is 84.2%. Now, when we're talking about percentage on the spreadsheet, it's not quite the same as percent of items finished. The main difference being is that this percentage, it includes every item and every item required to make an item. For instance, if you were to make chests, that only does that require the stack of chests, but this also includes the 50 stacks of wood. So that's an additional 50,000 just for the stack of chests. So while this is a useful percentage, it's not like just saying, I have 84% of the items done. That would be the checklist, which we'll talk about later. So, having said that, I believe it's time to get started. Looking at our fruits, first of all, we have that entirely done. And we've had it done since last time. Same thing with the veggies. Flowers, also all finished. Animal products, all done. Seeds. This is our first one where we're not done on. The nice thing about doing these audits now, compared to as much as we did them like in very early audits, is that when something is done, like this category, I don't have to mess with it anymore. So now the only thing I have to check here are the mixed flower seeds, the maple tree seeds, the mossy seeds, and the pine cones. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at those real fast. So the maple seeds, we actually have a full stack of, plus a little bit here. So maple seeds are finished. That's one completed stack. Mossy tree seeds. This one's a little bit unfortunate because you're gonna actually see that it went down significantly. The main reason it went down is because I went and made a larger moss farm, actually not very long ago. This was like 2 weeks ago IRL. I went and decided to make another big moss farm to get our moss faster. So as a result of that, we actually have less mossy seeds than we had last time, but we're actually going to get them back faster because every mossy tree planted, whenever I shake it, it has a 5% chance of dropping a mossy seed. So as I'm gathering the moss, I will get more mossy seeds over time. Eventually this will fill back up. It might not be by the next audit, but it should be pretty quick after that. Then we got our pine cones, which we do have a stack of. This is the last one we were waiting on with our Woodskip fish ponds. And we are done with Woodskip fish ponds now. And then the only other thing in here is the mixed flower seeds. We did manage to get a few of them. I'm not going out of my way for them just because I'll eventually get them with time. I sometimes buy them from the Desert Festival when they're available. But we have 623 compared to the 486 we had before. And that brings the whole category up to 99%, which I think it was pretty close to already. On to the next category, we've got fertilizer, which has been done for quite a while. Geodes. So I told you I would talk about how this category changed a little bit. So to do so, let's head on over to our geodes really quick. So in our geodes, the only 2 geodes we're not finished with are the mystery box, or were not finished with, were the mystery box and the golden mystery box. So let's take a look at what we got now. For our regular mystery boxes, we just finished today in game, because I decided it would be a good idea to finish that stack really quick. The stack of those. So we are completely done with regular mystery boxes. However, you'll notice golden mystery boxes is not out of 999. It is out of nearly 100,000, actually over 100,000. And the reason being is because now I'm including what we need from the golden mystery boxes in here. So one of my strategies for getting an item later, the Book of Mysteries, is to open golden mystery boxes. And by me saying one of my strategies, the only way, the absolute only way in the game to get Books of Mystery is by opening golden mystery boxes. So as a result of that, I have to open approximately 100,000 golden mystery boxes in order to get those Books of Mystery. So this is actually tied, and it's part of the formula up here, to the amount of Books of Mystery I have. But for now, we just have to write how many total we have. We have 2,000, so that's going to be 2,045. If you have not seen some of my other videos, I do have a strategy for golden mystery boxes. If you know, you know. Let's just say no children were harmed in the making of this challenge. Onto gems. Those are all done. Minerals, I think this was actually my first completed category, although the categories have kind of changed since then. Resources. Now, this is going to be a bit of a big one. So we're actually going to start by looking at coal here, because it's the first one on the list. You'll notice we're going to have a lot less coal than we had before. So I've only got the few stacks that are in here. I used to have a bunch of stacks in the house. I ended up using all of those. The main reason I used all of them is to smoke some fish, as we're going to find out when we get to fish and smoked fish. So this is actually all the coal I have left. So I have 3,000 minus 3 plus 566. So that is 3,563. It looks like that went down by a lot, but it's going to shoot back up once I put in all my smoked fish. Of the ones that are not done now is fiber, although as we're going to find out here, it might be a little more done than we thought. Let's go into my house, my wonderfully decorated house, to my new bulk storage area. So here I am keeping a few things. Mainly, I am keeping 999 stacks of sap, 999 stacks of stone, and 999, stacks of fiber. So every single one of these is full of fiber, with the exception of this one. I'm sorry, is it this one? Where'd I put it? This one, okay, which is only filled up to here. This is 999 stacks of fiber. So that's 999 times 999 stacks of fiber. In addition to that, we have one additional stack. So let's add 999 to that. So that puts us at a total of 999,000. That completes fiber in its entirety. Fiber is a finished stack. Let's move on here to our iron ore and our iron bars. So for iron bars, let's just do that one first. It'll be a little quicker. It's just going to be 1,349. So it went up by a little bit. And then for iron ore, it's going to be 3,409. I'm actually planning on having both of these done by the next audit. It really is just a money issue. I'm going to have to buy a whole lot of iron in order to make anvils. So next audit, hopefully we will have both of these done, as long as the money doesn't run out. So it says I have 10,000 moss. We're going to be reducing that number a little bit. So our current moss is right here. This is all of the moss we currently have. It's just 1,794. So we'll write that in there. So it looks like this is going to go down to 10%, but it's going to shoot back up again once we add in all of the stuff we used moss for, which was quite a lot. Moss is unfortunately one of those things you need a lot of, 420,000 of it. That's everything for our resources there. Forage has not changed very much, except magma caps. We only have the one stack of magma caps. So that means that we actually lost all these, but there's a good reason for it. We had to dry or dehydrate the magma caps. So we are gonna fill in a little bit that last stack of magma cap mushrooms. Rainbow shells changed, but I didn't go out of my way to work on them. We have 874. It's one of those things that I could go out of my way to finish if I went to the dangerous mines and like farmed for them. However, there's not a really good reason to do that. Over enough time on the beach, I'm just gonna pick up enough to finish it. And that's it for forage. It changed a little bit, but not too much. All right, here's our big one. We're on to fish. And I'm gonna have to go through these one by one, unfortunately. So unlike a lot of the other stuff that we've been doing, this is gonna take a while. So the way I store my fish in my game is I've got this one chest here for all of the non-smoked fish, and then this one chest here for all of the smoked fish. As you can see, I've got a lot of the smoked fish done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of go through this alphabetically, and it might actually be better to do smoked fish first. So let's actually move over here to smoked fish first, and we'll go through and mark off all the ones that I have smoked. Because conveniently, I've only smoked everything I have a stack of. So I just have to put 999 in for all of those. So blue discus, bream, bullhead, carp. Blue discus, bream, bullhead are after carp. We've got catfish, chub, clam, crab, crayfish. And then we've got all these done. So we're just gonna look at cockle and then Dorado next. Oh, cockle's not done, that's right. So we got Dorado, Goby, largemouth bass, lava eel. Dorado, big gap between that and Goby. Largemouth bass, lava eel. We've got lionfish, Midnight Carp, Perch. I think we had lobster done already. Yes, we did. Lionfish, Midnight Carp, and Perch. After Perch, we've got Periwinkle we already had done. So Pike, Rainbow Trout, Smoked Salmon. Oh, Rainbow Trout was done already, so it's just Pike and Salmon. Slimejack, Smallmouth Bass, Squid. Slimejack, Smallmouth Bass, Squid. Stingray, Tiger Trout, Void Salmon. Stingray, Tiger Trout, Void Salmon. And then finally, the last two are Walleye and Woodskip. WW. It's crazy to go through and mark all those off, considering how many individual hours it took to get all of those done. Just being able to be like, yeah, that's all done now. That makes a huge difference here. We're at 47. I think we were at like 10% done with smoked fish before this audit. So being up to 47 is huge. That also makes a pretty big difference on the fish front too. Now I'm gonna have to make a few changes. You're gonna see like some of these are overloaded, like the chub. And that's because we smoked it after the last audit. So we had 1600 chub before, and now we've got all of them done. So I'm gonna have to go through also and indicate that, oh, we've only got 999 of those done now. But I'm going to do that for a whole bunch of them as we go through the fish here. So this one's going to be a little more confusing because I might have to occasionally come over to this side. Although there are only a few things that are over where we're at, or overflowed into this chest that we aren't done with smoking. So we're going to start over here though. We're going to start with our albacore. So albacore, we have 100 of, actually technically 101 because there's one in the smoke chest as well. So we'll count that, why not? Anchovy, we have 49, 50 because we have the one in the other chest. And blobfish, we have 295, which blobfish went up quite a bit, and it's going to go up a bunch more in the coming weeks here. Blue discus is 999, and it was one of the ones that smoked, so it's all done. Okay, after blue discus, we have bream, which is also fully completed. And then we got bullhead, carp, catfish, done, and chub, as I already mentioned, was done as well. Ooh, I love watching all that green light up. Cockle is not so lucky, unfortunately. So cockle is the longest term of all of our beach fish. So like the shells we have to pick up on the beach. We're at 371. So after only 5 years, we only went up by 31. So it's going to be a long-term finish on the cockles. On to Dorado, eel, and flounder. So Dorado, as we saw earlier, is completely finished with 999, and then 71 and 345. That reminds me, the cockle should have been one higher to begin with, because we have the spare cockle in the next chest. So let's fix that now. Ghostfish, Glacierfish, and Goby. Ghostfish is 757. Glacierfish is 79. 757, 79, and Goby is finished. All right, on to the halibut, herring, and the ice pip. The halibut is 173. The herring is 228, and the ice pip is 20. We've just started working on ice pips, like literally like 2 weeks before the end of the season this year in game. So we're just getting started on those ice pips. Largemouth bass, I know that one. Lava eel and legend 2. Largemouth bass is 999. Legend 2 is, largemouth bass is 999, lava eel is 999, and legend 2 is 39. Onto lingcod, lionfish. Yeah, let's just do lingcod and lionfish for now. Lingcod is 246, and lionfish is 999. Midnight carp and midnight squid. Let's do both the midnights together. 999 on the midnight carp, 405 on the midnight squid. Good to see them steadily going up, but we got a lot of work to do on these ocean fish. All right, miss anglers and mussels. 789 on the miss anglers, 999 on the mussels. Well, sort of, actually. Let's do this one here. 789 on the miss anglers. And mussels aren't quite right, because there's 999 here, but we got to go over to the other chest here to show we have an additional 9 there. So that's going to be 1008. After the mussels, we're on to octopi and oysters. So octopus is 234, and then the oysters are an extra 100 on top of the 999. So octopus is 234. Oysters are 1099, actually, exactly. 1099. Pike we can knock down to 999, but onto perch and pufferfish. I believe we finished perch, yes. The perch is 999, pufferfish is 63. Getting started on that at least. Okay, radioactive carp and red mullet. 34 for radioactive carp, 273 for red mullet. We did not really work on radioactive carp at all, did we? So red snapper is 95, salmon is 999. Sorry, 96, 999, and 331. Very good. Next we got our sardine, our scorpion carp, and our sea cucumber. 238, 479, and 156. All right, and then we got shad, slimejack, and smallmouth. 999, 999, 999. Those are all 3 that I finished. Son of crimsonfish and spooky fish. 29 and 322. 29 has not changed. Squid goes back to just 999. Then we've got stingray and stonefish. 999 for that one. 999 for stingray, and 273 for stonefish. Very good. All right, we're in the home stretch now. Sturgeon and sunfish. Sturgeon is up to 165. Sunfish is 981. Super cucumber and tiger trout. Super cucumber is 154. And tiger trout is 999. So super cucumber is 154. Tiger trout 999. Tilapia and tuna. Tilapia is 136. Tuna is 303. All right, last three here: the void salmon, the walleye, and the woodskip. Fun fact about all three of those: they are completely done. So as a result of that, I can just go 999, 999, and 999. And that brings our total category of fish up to 64% complete, which is more than I thought, actually. So maybe I'll have an easy rest of the decade coming up to finish it. All right, roe. There are, in fact, some changes going to be made in the roe section here. There wasn't too much to go, but now there's almost nothing. So let's start with our Glacierfish Junior roe. So to find our roe, we're just going to come down here. So this is our raw roe. And this is our aged roe. So for our raw roe, we actually have everything done. If I scroll through it kind of quickly here, everything is complete for our roe with two exceptions. And that is our squid and our midnight squid, which we're going to be working on for quite a while, unfortunately. But with everything else being complete, I can go ahead and say that this is going to be at 999. And the Legend 2 row is at 999. Thank you for fish ponds. And then the radioactive carp row, also done. And Son of Crimsonfish row, also finished. Miss Angler row is also done. I could have sworn I had that done already. Now for these last two, we have to actually update what we have. So our midnight squid row is up to 172. And then our squid row is up to 320. And that brings us up to 97% done with the row. Literally, those are the last two. It'll even go up a little bit more when I finish some other stuff here. And that'll be the whole category once those two are done. And you'll notice that our bait category is almost done as well. In fact, there's only three things we're missing. We're missing the Glacierfish Junior bait, we're missing the Legend 2 bait, and we're missing the Son of the Crimsonfish bait. However, if we head on over here to our bait chest, we needed the Son of Crimsonfish bait, that's at 999. We need our Legend 2 bait, that's at 999. And we need our Glacierfish Junior bait, which is also at 999. So all three of those are also done as well. And with that, that finishes the category 100%. All baits are done. Let's go ahead and look at our monster drops now. Starting with our Dragon's Teeth, you'll see that we not only have 999 Dragon's Teeth, we have a bit extra. So actually, if we were to just change this to 999 though, we are now done with it. Now we've got our red slime eggs and our tiger slime eggs. Our red slime eggs are at 448, and then our tiger slime eggs, you might have saw there really quick, is finished. Which is why we do not have lionfish in our fish ponds anymore. So that's another completed stack. And then finally, we have our void essence. Void essence is a little bit weird to count. We have one stack here, but the remaining is actually in the desert, waiting to trade for Krobus's love pendants, the void ghost pendants. So to count our void stacks here, our void essence stacks, this is 70 because a whole chest is 70. And then this is another 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 70 plus 20 plus 1, because we have one stack at home. We have void essence at home times 999. So that is 90,909 plus an additional 154 that we have there. So doing that, that brings our total count up to here of 91,163. 91,063, which brings it up by a little bit, but it's not something we've really been focused on. And that is it for our monster drops so far. So we made a bit of a dent in there. It was nice to knock out those two stacks. By the next audit, we should be done with red slime eggs. Void essence is going to be another question entirely. Let's go on to our artisan goods, jarred goods here. First of all, we have our aged Legend 2 row. I know I already told you this is done, but I like to prove it by showing it here. So aged Legend 2 row, that's going to be 999. Aged midnight squid row and aged squid row. In both those cases, we have exactly one of them because they're kind of holding the spot. In terms of jarred goods then, the next thing we have to look at is pickles. And since we're looking at jarred goods anyways, we also want to look at jelly. So we have all of the other jarred goods done. We're just waiting on these traveling cart ones. We have 141 jelly and 85 pickles. So for jelly, we went up by 10, and for pickles, we went up by 4. And that's all of our jarred goods. We're at 97% done, and progress on the rest of these is going to be rather slow going forward. It's really just the last really hard stuff here. All right, we can go on to our artisan goods in the keg now. And the only two things missing here, I believe, actually there's only one thing missing, and it's the juice. We have 124 juice, up from 108. So we got a little lucky on those. And that's it for altering that category. So let's go on to our dried goods. And there's only one thing we were missing here. So did we finish the dried magma caps? We did. And with that stack done, that finishes the category. That is all of the dried goods done, completely stacked. We no longer need a dehydrator for anything. And we've got our other artisan goods, which have already been finished and continue to be finished. Cooking is a weird category because technically we do have to recook all of these things, but I don't feel comfortable getting rid of all of them yet because I technically have the stacks. I'm remaking all the cooking because I want the highest possible quality. So we're gonna make everything gold star. So you can make things gold star, cooking dishes gold star, by using Q seasoning. We need the 81,000 Q gems basically to finish all these off. But we basically have all the ingredients to remake all of them, but we're gonna have to wait on doing that a little bit later. All right, time for the machines and apparatuses. This is one of the bigger categories in here. It's got a lot of things that require other things to make it. First thing here was anvils, which unfortunately have not changed. I don't remember if I was including the autopetters that are like in the barns and coops, but I feel like I probably shouldn't because that's a lot to pay attention to. So let's just go with the number that's in here, which is 160. It's probably about 15 higher, but that's okay. For cursed mannequins, I don't think this changed, but let's go ahead and take a look and see if it did. 32 and 25. We've got 25 and 32. Yep, that's the same. Deluxe worm bins. This is something that's definitely changed. We have 830. We just needed a little more moss. Enrichers, we had 173. We now have 175. Look at those gains. The regular mannequins, I think I'm still at 2 of each of these. I considered buying them. I kind of have enough money to buy 1 stack of them right now, but I'm just gonna wait until I have enough money to buy both stacks. It feels weird to finish 1 stack and not the other. Mini shipping bin, I believe we still just have the 2 of those. Yep, 2 mini shipping bins. We technically have 3, but I'm using 1. Pressure nozzles, we're up to 238 of. I think mostly because I rearranged my farm and removed some of the pressure nozzles I was using, but we won't talk about that. Statue of Blessing, we still just have the 1. And then finally, the worm bin, which I'm gonna have to remove some from because we have too many now, because I've been using worm bins to make deluxe worm bins. So now we're up to 1,068, or down to, I suppose, 1,168, which should give me the exact amount I need. Perfect. And that's it for our machines and apparatuses. Unfortunately, this is one of the longer term things, so I wouldn't expect this to change much more going forward. We'll finish up our deluxe worm bins, but everything else here is very long term. From that, we are now on to consumables, which there really only are, there's only one thing here, I guess, that we still need to get, and that's the golden animal crackers. We have 273 of those, so we did go up by quite a lot. You get surprisingly large amounts of them from fishing, like surprisingly large amounts from fishing, and we've been doing a lot of fishing lately. However, I'm going to be giving these to my golden chickens, so this is actually going to shoot back down like 100, but we'll probably get that much back by the next audit as well. So this might not change too much by the next audit, unfortunately. Onto books. So there are a lot of books in this game. So our books of mystery are up first. We have 4 books of mystery, up from 0. So technically that's an infinitely many more books. Our books of stars and our dwarvish safety manuals, 104 and 31. Friendship 101 and Horse the Book. So that's 11 and 131 respectively. Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Thick, and Jewels of the Sea. We've got 17 and 145. Mapping, Cave Systems, and Mining Monthly. Cave Systems is gonna go up to 13, and Mining Monthly is finished. So these can occasionally show up in the traveling cart, and you can buy as many as you want when they do. So that's why I was able to finish that. We're up to Monster Compendium and Old Slitherlegs. So the Monster Compendium is 48, Old Slitherlegs is 131. So we're on to Raccoon Journal and the Almanac, 17, and the Almanac is finished. So this is another one I was able to buy from the traveling cart. Following that, we've got the Alleyway Buffet and the Art o' Crabbing. Alleyway Buffet is 15, Art of Crabbing is 11. And it's really random how many of these books we get because they have a very small chance of showing up at the book trader. So just whether or not they show up over a long enough time period is how many I get there. All right, we're on to Diamond Hunter and Treasure Appraisal Guide. Diamond Hunter, 41. Treasure Appraisal Guide, 9. Way of the Wind 1 and 2 are both 131. Easy to remember that. Woodcutter's Weekly and Woody's Secret. Woodcutter's Weekly is 144 and Woody's Secret is 19. Woodcutter's Weekly is the only skill book outside of the Book of Stars that I'm not finished with. It just has not shown up yet at the traveling card for me. When it does, I'll finish it. All right, that's it for books. We're up to 31%. Onto our gifts and rewards. So this is another one where we've got a lot of different items that need to be altered here. Here's a big one though, to start things off. So these are typically in here. We've got our faraway stones, which we managed to finish. 999. Unfortunately, what happened there is I turned all of my ancient dolls into faraway stones. So as a result, we are no longer finished with ancient dolls. I basically traded a stack for a stack. All right, golden bobbers. I kind of stopped working on these a little bit because I'm more focused on the fish right now, but we did manage to get a few. We're up to 243. Golden tags. I am very sad, but I was unable to finish golden tags before the audit, but it'll be done this year in game. So next Trout Derby, we're gonna get this done. because we're at 975 of them now. Next up, we have our prize tickets. We managed to get a few of these. We're up to 268 of those. Our purple shorts, 301 of those. Our Star Drop Tee, we're up to 196 of those. And our Void Ghost pendants, we would normally have 0, but due to an incident we will not go into detail about, we actually have 2 of them. We've got all of our trash here. That's been done for a long time. And now we are on to our artifacts, which we just have a few more to fill in here. Everyone always asks me why I have these stars in here. So these are like space fillers. If I've got a bunch of items in my inventory, I can press this button, and if I have extra, like say I have an extra treasure chest, it won't go in here. So we have 421 amphibian fossils, which is a lot more. The ancient dolls, we actually have to drop these down. We only have 46. For the dwarf gadget and dwarf scroll 2 and 4, 896, and then 934 and 808. 934, it went up by 1. This one only went up by 4. Those are some I'm gonna have to grind out at some point, but while bombing the mines, I should get them. We'll see. On to the fossilized ribs. I'm gonna do these one at a time because it's kind of hard to remember which one's which. We have 533 fossilized ribs. Fossilized spine, we have 226. That did not change because I didn't get any of them. Fossilized tail should have changed. Yeah, we got a few of those. After our fossilized tail, we've got the mummified bat. We probably got a few mummified bats. 766. Yeah, we got 20. That's pretty good. Our mummified frog hopefully went up as well. We're up to 127. Our nautilus fossil, it's going to go up by quite a bit, I think. 477. We got a lot of these fishing. Our palm fossil is at exactly 300. Our prehistoric scapula, 344. And our prehistoric skull is at 365. So these will continue going up slowly because I get them from the dig site once per week. I don't get each thing, unfortunately, once per week, but I get some from the dig site. Our skeletal hand is going to be 329. Our snake skull is going to be 570. Whoa, what? Yeah, I guess so. 570. Fishing on Ginger Island is where I got a bunch of those, that's right. Our snake vertebrae is up to 77. Our strange doll green and pink. Green is 297. Pink is 339. Treasure chest is done. Trilobite we have 337. And that's it for artifacts. We were not able to finish any, which is not unexpected. A lot of these are going to be going up slowly, but we will get them done eventually for sure. So next is decor lighting, which is done. Decor infrastructure, which is done. And decor other, which is not done, but we do get to make some changes here. Let's start with our houseplants. We've got 959 houseplants. We got very close to finishing it, but not quite. We will have that done by the next audit for sure. Our plush bunnies have gone up by a little bit as well. We're at 137 plush bunnies. Now we got to do our rare crows. So we've got rare crow 1. I really wish these were in order, Concerned Ape. I don't know why I have to go backwards. 79 for 1, 75 for 2, and 70 for 5. No, 70 for 5. My bad. Imagine like being able to do any amount of mental math. Okay, there we go. Rare Crow 4 is the snowman. We've got 540 of those. And then finally, oh, that's all the rare crows actually. So that only leaves a few things here. We have the stone Junimo, which was at 69, but is now at 74. We have the spawning stone owl, which has not changed. We still have the 8 of those. We really need to clear our farm if we want more of those. And then we've got the tea set, which is at 42 and is staying at 42 for the moment. That's gonna be the last thing we buy. So I'm saving my money. I'm doing my money for other things right now, but eventually we'll start buying them. And with that, that is in fact all of this updated. So let's go back to our totals page and see where that leaves us. So having updated everything, let's see where our totals sit. Seeds has moved up. Geodes technically moved up. It went down since the last audit still, because of how I changed how I'm counting it. Resources went up by a lot. Forage is within a rounding error of complete. We just have a few little things there. Fish and smoked fish went up by a lot. These were like sub 20 both beforehand. Got our monster drops went up as well. All of our jarred and kegs artisan goods, our dehydrated goods finished. We had a few other categories finished as well. And our books went up to 31%. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's see what our total was. It was exactly 90%. So we went up by about 5% during this audit, which is what I expected. Now I can tell people how done's your challenge. It's 90% done. Okay, one of the things we have to talk about, by the way, is many of the observant among you might have noticed that this number here, which calculates the number of total stacks I have to complete, is different than what it was last audit. And that's because a mistake was pointed out to me. I was overcounting the number of seeds I had by 2, both by a math mistake and by not realizing that one of these categories technically isn't a stack mistake. So as a result, the total number of stacks that we have actually has gone down by 2. And I will fix that eventually on the blank spreadsheet and everything like that, but it is already fixed on the checklist, which is where we're going right now. All right, let's go in order and check some stuff off here, huh? Fruits are already done, vegetables are already done, flowers are already done. Seeds are the first thing we're gonna have to change here. So I've already actually lowered this. This did say 71 because of the thing I just said I messed up. But now it says 69, which is great because of what we're about to do here in a second. So let's scroll through here and click off the things we're done with. Mainly, we are finished with maple seeds and pine cones. Not only is it nice, but that means that our seeds are now 67 out of 69, which I'm sorry. That's just how it works. Our next thing to look at would be the geodes. So let's scroll down here until we get to geodes. So completed is the mystery box. So we now have 7 out of 8 completed geodes. Unfortunately, the last one is going to take a while, but it's a good start. We're gonna go down to our resources because we did complete one more resource, and that was the fiber. Fiber is now entirely done, which brings us up to 33 out of 37. Then next off, we are, what happened to the maple syrup? I didn't know the tariffs would do this. Let's head on down here and finish off our magma caps. So we got another forageable done. Magma caps are done. And that's gonna be 20 out of 21. Interestingly for the fish, every fish that we smoked is also every fish that we completely finished. So I'm just gonna get to double mark these basically. So starting with the blue discus, the bream, the bullhead, the carp, the catfish, the chub, the dorado, the goby, the largemouth bass, the lava eel, the lionfish, the midnight carp, the perch, the pike, the salmon, the... Do you ever like write something down and then like try and read it and like, what on earth did I write down here? I think it's a sardine. No, sardine's not even done. Shad? No. Oh, it's a slimejack. Okay, the slimejack. What did I write? The smallmouth bass, the squid, the stingray, the tiger trout, the void salmon, the walleye, and the woodskip. So in total, that is 23 fish. And as I said, we have exactly as many smoked fish done as fish. So 23 plus 8 brings us up to 31. And now for our smoked fish, let's go ahead and mark those off as well. Blue discus, the bream. Unfortunately, there's no pictures here because it's really hard to get a picture of a smoked fish. The bullhead, the carp, the catfish, the chub, the dorado, goby, largemouth bass and lava eel, lionfish, midnight carp, perch and pike, salmon, then the slimejack, which I can totally read my own handwriting for, the smallmouth bass, squid, stingray, the tiger trout, void salmon, the walleye, and the woodskip, which brings us also up to 31 completed. And then we move on to Roe, Glacierfish, Legend 2, Radioactive Carp, Son of Crimsonfish, Miss Angler. That just leaves the 2 there. So we add 5 to this total. Becomes 65 out of 67. Very good. All right, bait. We have a few of those done as well. The Glacierfish Junior bait, the Legend 2 bait, and the Son of Crimsonfish bait. So that's an additional 3. You can add 3 to that to bring it to... Oh yeah, completed. Bait's done. Monster drops. We managed to finish the dragon's tooth. We finished the tiger slime egg, and that is it. So that adds 2 more to the total. Artisan goods jar. We managed to finish the aged legend 2 row, and I think that was it. Yes, that was it in this category. So that brings us up to 131. Nothing changed in terms of completed stacks for the kegged goods, so we can pass that by. However, for the dried goods, we managed to finish the dried magma caps, which in turn finishes the whole category. So all the dried artisan goods are done. And then the next thing we have to update here is actually not until books. So let's do a little scrolling here. None of these are completed, although we did update them a little bit when we were going through the checklist. Consumables, nothing else is completed there. Our next stop is books. And in books, we managed to finish Mining Monthly and the Stardew Valley Almanac. Almanac, there we go. Mining Monthly and the Almanac. Why is that word so hard to say? That brings us up to 7 books completed. And then finally, the last item we managed to complete today is in the gifts and rewards section. We managed to finish the Faraway Stone, which brings us up to 5 here. And that is 1 additional item complete. So with all of that, if we return very quickly here to the top of the screen, we can update this guy here, which doesn't look like anything happened, but like any of those titles there that I updated here. And then we also have to update this. So counting the total number of items that I just added to the sheet, because I was writing it down as I was doing it, that is 66 more items. That puts us at 1,010 total items completed out of 1,189. If we take that 1,110 divided by 1,189, that puts us at essentially exactly, it's a little bit off, but almost exactly 85% complete on the number of stacks. So we're basically 85% complete with the number of stacks completed with this challenge. And I guess to wrap up here, we can now update this. This is no longer 323, this is 1028, and we are at 90% completion with the challenge. I hope so much that you all enjoyed spending this time with me as we went over our year 90 through year 95 challenge update. You can see right here, this is the first day of year 96. So my next audit, which hopefully will be a little sooner than this one came about, is going to be year 96 through year 100. So at the end of year 100, we will do our next audit. We'll also maybe do a little extra to celebrate reaching our 100th year in Stardew. So I hope you'll join me for that. But until next time, it was lovely to see each and every one of you. I hope you are able to enjoy me updating all of my spreadsheet stuff, and I will catch you guys all in the future. Bye for now, everybody. Goodbye. The very bottom there on the right side is the Slimejack. That says Slimejack.